Hey guys, welcome back! In 2017, the Commodore 64 will be 35 years old, so it's a perfect time to point out my 10 favorite C tunes that I've always worshipped and still listen all the time. Let's take a look, or better saying, let's take a listen. Never owned one, but played a ton of C64 games over at a friend's house back in the day, and I was always completely mesmerized and jealous about the awesome capabilities of its superior audio chip compared with the one that Spectrum users had at their disposal. I can't simply recall how many times we loaded a C64 game just to listen to its music. As told on PixelThing's episode 35, I grew up with the ZX Spectrum 48 and 128K followed by the Amiga, so it's perfectly normal that I got used to their respective sound chips and prefer those over the SID. But don't get me wrong, if I did own a C64 instead of let's say a Spectrum 128K, I would prefer Commodore's machine, that's a fact. Cause I'm totally addicted to video game music. So many awesome composers emerged making music on the Commodore 64. Hubert, Daglish, Tell, Hulsbeck, Gray, Whittaker, Follen, Galway, Dunn, etc, etc. Nowadays there's thousands of remixes of these mind-blowing tunes and themes that I listen, for instance, while cooking, while driving, and even when I go to sleep at night. So without further ado, here's my 10 favorite C64 tunes that always makes me smile and whistle when I'm listening to them. The great Gianna sisters. Known as the Mario ripoff, the great Gianna sisters was an attempt from German developer Time Warp Productions to grab the Super Mario Bros. Success formula and bring something similar to the popular 8 and 16-bit home computers from mid to late 80s. It was originally developed for the Commodore 64 and later ported to other systems, but ended up being taken out of store shelves cause the layout of the first level was practically identical to the first level of Super Mario Bros. Nintendo, being Nintendo, advised German publisher Rainbow Arts to stop production of the game. Nowadays, it's one of those holy grails of video gaming, and with an amazing soundtrack composed by Chris Hulsbeck. Platoon. One of the best C64 games I've ever played and an amazing conversion of one of the greatest movies of all time is Platoon. I recall watching this movie right after its release in VHS, and its main theme alone made me cry. Combined with the extreme visual depictions of the Vietnam War, it had an extreme impact on me. I was around 13 years old by then, and I have engraved in my mind every single scene. Obviously that Platoon, the video game, would grab my attention immediately. Tried it first on the C64 and it is, until today, my favorite version of the game. And its intro tune, by Jonathan Dunn, is simply amazing. Myth, history in the making. I absolutely love mythology and everything related to it. Ancient civilizations and stuff. So Myth was one of those games that I immediately grabbed for my ZX Spectrum, not even knowing what it was about. The word myth said it all. Played it countless times on my ZX Spectrum 128K, but when I tried it on a C64, needless to say that I was blown away by this amazing tune. Credit for it goes to Jeroen Tel from Maniacs of Noise, a company devoted to composing music and designing sound effects for video games, TV and movies since 1987, with hundreds of soundtracks in their resume. International Karate. After Way of the Exploding Fist from Melbourne House came in 1986, International Karate from System 3 Software that featured one of my favorite musical pieces by the great Rob Hubert. These were the days of karate movies and TV series, so creating games centered around that theme was an instant winner, and with a two-player mode, well, they couldn't miss. Every summer break, we used to make video game contests and championships, and needless to say, this one was always present mainly because of its superb two-player mode and amazing soundtrack. Delta. And what about another Rob Hubert awesome tune? I simply can't get enough of that guy. Delta is a very basic shooter that shows good use of parallax scrolling effects, and it's one of those games that we would load up just to listen to its intro tune. The C64 was the 8-bit platform of choice for shoot-em-ups, because it was able to recreate an untouchable arcade-like experience thanks to its incredibly fast scrolling, and because of that, is home of many great exclusives. This particular one was also ported 3 years later to the ZX Spectrum and known as Delta Charge, but nowhere near as good in all respects. Supremacy. One of the best strategy games I've ever played. It was because of this title that I became addicted to this particular genre around 1992, firstly on the Amiga with SimCity and Dune, and later on PC with Dune 2, Warcraft and Command & Conquer. It was known as Overlord in the US, and a well-succeeded port from the 16-bit original by David Perry and Nick Brody, released a year prior in 1990. Credits for this amazing tune goes to Jeroen Tel from Maniacs of Noise. Sanxion. And here's another great musical piece by Rob Hubert. the loader for Sanxion. Let's just listen to it. The man was a genius, and I only wished that the in-game music was this exact one. Sanxion is a really awesome shoot 'em up, miles away from Delta, that I've placed in number 6, and the loader music is a freaking work of art and spawned in numerous remixes throughout the years. Cybernoid II. It looks like we have a fight in our hands. Rob Hubert versus Jero Intel. Cybernoid II has this amazing tune composed by, again, Jero Intel. So 3 for Jeroen and 3 for Hubert. And only 2 games to go. I guess that everyone played Cybernoid II. It was available for the greatest 8 and 16-bit home computers of the time. It's graphically impressive, and this time around, this awesome tune plays throughout the whole game. Let's wrap the seed battle with this tune that I placed in number 2, so not necessarily the best composer, but the one with the most amazing C64 portfolio is Rob Hubert, with one more awesome tune from Commando. As you know, this title began as an arcade game from Capcom, later converted to all 8 and 16-bit home computers and consoles available by 1985. Hubert was hired by Elite Systems to write the C64 tune based on the arcade original, so he went to their offices around 8 in the afternoon and worked on it during the night till 8 AM. Before everyone came in, he loaded his work into every single C64 in the office, and everyone was blown away by Hubert's rendition of Commando. So, based on this, we got this! The Last Ninja II. The Last Ninja II has got one of the greatest C64 soundtracks ever created, and the tune from the very first level was the one that remained carved in my mind. Do you recall its composer? Matt Gray, yeah, he's responsible for other amazing tunes that almost made it to this top, like the one from Stormlord 2. As for this particular tune, it's the living proof of the amazing capabilities of the SID chip, combined with these gorgeous atmospheric visuals and highly improved gameplay regarding its predecessor. Back in 1988, this was a sublime package of technical achievements for an 8-bit system. So guys, hope you've enjoyed my 10 favorite C64 tunes, and I'll be glad to hear if these somehow brought a bit of nostalgia to your hearts. You're obviously invited to also post below your own favorites and recommendations. In the meanwhile, check my other C64 related videos that I uploaded in the past and that you might have missed. Also, don't forget to like, to share and to subscribe to It's a Pixel Thing. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you all in the next episode.